I'd like to start by welcoming all of you to OCMC Judges Training for this year's Ontario Colleges Marketing Competition. My name is Lori Footerer, and I'm a business professor here at George Brown College, and also I'm on the planning committee for this year's OCMC. I just want to start off the session by thanking all of you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to be here and participate not only in this training but in all the prep that goes into preparing to be a judge for this event and agreeing to give up the whole day on November 27th to help make this such a rich and a rewarding event for the students. As well, I want to thank the Canadian Institute of Marketing for their continued support and sponsorship of this event. As many of you know, the Ontario Colleges Marketing Competition is a provincial business competition that's been around for 35 years, and this is the first time George Brown has hosted the event in 15 years. It really brings together the best students in undergraduate marketing from across the province to help them sort of display their thinking and problem solving, creativity, presentation skills, strategic analysis, their marketing knowledge, and give them an opportunity to take the things that they've learned in the classroom and put them into practice. This complete video today should take no more than 15 minutes and should be used to go along with the training packages that were sent via email a few weeks ago. In terms of what we're going to be covering today, the agenda is going to be as follows. Just a little bit more background on OCMC and the Canadian Institute of Marketing. Then I'm going to take you through the agenda for the day of the 27th. We'll go over some judges' instructions and what is expected of you on that day. A little bit of a review of the evaluation forms, and then we'll talk about some different judging tips to help you do your job as best possible on the day of the 27th. Just a little bit more background on the OCMC. It's a student-focused learning experience that really provides these students the opportunity to demonstrate some essential skills and employability skills with industry professionals. And we really view it as a stepping stone between academia to industry by trying to create some real world marketing and obviously networking opportunities as well for these students. This year's OCMC will be hosting over 250 students from across 12 colleges. There's 100 faculty that are involved in the planning and prep and coaching of these students, as well as there's 50 judges. And this is a two-day event. It actually runs the 26th and the 27th, with the majority of the competition happening on the 27th, in which you folks will be participating in. In terms of the different events, the ones on the 27th are mostly case-based competitions with different categories, and you can take a read through of the different areas, and each of you have been assigned a certain category that you will be judging. Along with the case events, we also have a sales presentation competition and a job interview that the students will be participating in. Students take a lot of time preparing for this event. In many cases, the colleges recruit these students 6 months prior to the actual event itself. And they're really working on, not only just sort of practicing the case study, a competition type of a format, but really their analytical skills, how to come up with strategic recommendations, their creative thinking and problem solving skills, along with presentation skills, and really overall professionalism and industry knowledge. I mentioned the Canadian Institute of Marketing at the beginning of this presentation, and they've been a huge supporter and sponsor of OCMC for many, many years. And I just want to take a minute to talk a little bit about them. The Canadian Institute of Marketing, for those of you that don't know, is a not-for-profit organization focused on ethics, education, accreditation, and advocacy for the practice of professional marketing in Canada. And their vision is really to be recognized as a body that sets the standards for professional marketers in Canada. This slide lists some of the goals of the CIM, and you can read those, but it is a wonderful organization that really looks to promote marketing as a profession. There are 9 classes of memberships, and for any of you that would like more information, you can visit their website that's listed below. So let's talk a little bit more about the details that you're going to need for November 27th. So in terms of the venue, I'm sure most of you have seen that it's at the Hilton in Toronto. That's located on 145 Richmond Street West. And this slide gives you some parking suggestions, as well as if you're taking public transit, it is close to the Osgood subway station. So that's the stop that you're going to want to get off on. In terms of the day itself on the 27th, you'll notice here it's a very long day. And we realize that it's an extremely long day and a tight schedule. And again, just another big thank you for agreeing to such a commitment. The day starts with a judge's breakfast at 6:45 a.m. To 7:30 a.m. I would strongly encourage all of you to try to attend this breakfast. It's a great opportunity for you to connect with the other judges that will be on your panel, as well as with other judges that will be in other categories, and just sort of get ready for the day's events. At 7:30, we're going to ask you to proceed to the judging rooms, and at that time, you will see the cases for the first time, and we'll be able to confer with the judging panel and sort of prepare for the presentations that are to come. I know I have mentioned a few times that you will not see the cases until the day of, and we do this intentionally so you have an opportunity to sort of see what it is like for the students, as they only get 30 minutes to read these cases and prepare a full presentation. And so we like to have the judges to have that perspective. At 8:05, the presentations will begin, and they will go to 11:50, and then we'll move in for a lunch for an hour, and then the presentations will continue in the afternoon until 4:30. At that time, between 4:30 and 5 o'clock, you will have the opportunity to work with your panel to compile the results from all the presentations and come up with the winners for your specific event. Then we move to the judges' reception at 5:30, which I hope all of you will attend. It's just a great opportunity to sort of come down after a very busy, hectic day and to connect with each other. I know that there are many familiar faces in the crowd for many of you, and it'll be a great opportunity to just connect. I have mentioned in my previous email that the Gala Awards dinner will be held at 6:30. You are all invited. I've gotten many RSVPs, both yes and no. If anybody changes their mind and decides they'd like to stay, by all means let me know and we will make that happen. But it would be great to see you there, but this is obviously an optional part of the day. Moving on to the role of the OCMC judges, really your role is to challenge the students with questions at the conclusion of their presentation, to provide positive and constructive feedback in written communication form, and prepare the evaluation form at the conclusion of each presentation through written feedback and a quantitative grade. You will need to be mindful of the timelines of the event, and I'll talk to that a bit more in some slides to come. I would really hope that you guys take the time to read the event material provided prior to coming to the event. Students only have 30 minutes to analyze and prepare their responses, and it's important that you as judges reflect on this. We ask, as I had mentioned, you be available from 6:45 a.m. to 5 p.m. on that day, and timing is really crucial. Each presentation team has 15 minutes to present, 5 minutes for question and answer, and 10 minutes to complete the evaluation grid at the end of the presentations. Now, we do have volunteers and auditors outside the room to assist the judges and make sure that things stay on track. Most of you will be seeing 12 different presentations on the 27th, so you can imagine it's very important to keep things moving. As well, many of these students are involved in more than one event, so they need to finish one presentation and often move very quickly to another competition. I've included in this slideshow just an example rubric that most of you will look very similar for most of you. This is just for the marketing case, but this is what you will have the 10 minutes to fill out at the end of the 15-minute presentation. So in the column that it says judges considerations, those will all be blank, and you will have an opportunity to write some comments. And give scores in each of these sections. And then if you have the time to compare with some of the other judges on your panel in that 10-minute time period, that's great. It will alleviate some of the pressure at the end of the day when you're asked to rank order the teams from first to 12th place. So however productively you can use that 10-minute would be fantastic until the next group comes in. Judges are not to provide any verbal feedback to participants after the presentations until after the awards banquet. Actually, we really don't ask you to speak to the students other than when you're doing your question and answer period. In the past, a lot of students' expectations have been raised by comments judges might make in the room. So we just sort of have a policy that no feedback on the competition, and any feedback that, if by all means, if you see competitors at the gala event and want to talk to them after awards have been handed out, feel free, but they will be given their feedback in written form. All of the rubrics that you fill out will be sent to the colleges, so they'll have an opportunity to see what they did well and what they could improve upon. Just continuing on, at the end of the day, the judges will deliberate and rank teams from top to bottom. So we do need you to put the teams in order from 1 to 12, and there can be no ties amongst the top 5 teams, as these are the teams that will be awarded points. Once the first place team has been determined, the judging panel will complete a Here's What's Won form, which I'll show you in a moment. And then the top 5 presentations, as I had mentioned, will be awarded with points. The top 3 will be acknowledged at the gala dinner. And then the points are accumulated to determine the overall college competition standings. And the top 3 colleges will be awarded trophies and announced at the gala dinner at the end of the night. This is an example of the Here's What's Won form. So again, somebody in the judging panel's room, with input from the other judges, it can just write some comments on the winning team and why they were selected to win the gold medal. And then this is the other form you'll find in the room, which is just the college, the student name, and the score that they got out of 100, the combined score when you looked at when all of the judges deliberated and gave them one score out of 100. And they will be sent these rank order forms as well to give them a better idea of where they placed amongst other colleges. In terms of the case events, just a couple other things that you should be aware of. All case events will be using PowerPoint presentations and allowed 7 slides maximum to present, except for IMC, which is going to be allowed 10 slides, as well as flip charts and markers. Students are allowed to alter the background or format the slides and are allowed to use transition and custom animation within their presentation if they want to do so. In terms of some of the judging tips, I just wanted to mention a few categories and just give you a few bits of insight when you are thinking about awarding points. So the first category, introduction, simply just saying hi and introducing themselves is not what we're looking for. It's really the opportunity of the students to present more of a personal pitch and bring to the table something a little bit more creative as they start their presentation. In terms of the SWOT analysis, really its purpose is to identify internal and external factors that impact the organization, product, or service within the context of what is trending in the marketplace. This completed analysis determines factors that really will assist the firm in accomplishing its objectives. And the PowerPoint slide and presentation skills, those things should really be scored under creativity and presentation skills section. We're really looking for substance in a lot of these categories. When students are presenting alternatives, we really look for at least 3 viable alternatives. Doing nothing, is not really included in one of those viable alternatives. And, any responses that they suggest that are unrealistic or not feasible or maybe unethical are really not acceptable answers. In terms of recommendations and implementations, students really should suggest a reasonable budget, even if one is not included in the case, to just show that they're understanding the cost of implementing their plan. You'll see that some students have planned their answers out already and, put in industry trends and keywords and acronyms, and pre-planned responses should be sort of scored accordingly. We really want the students to be thinking on their feet. That's really the whole point of the event. In terms of the question and answer section, this is really the judge's opportunity to give the students a chance to clarify answers and elaborate on key points in the presentation. We'd love you to ask probing questions, and it gives the students a second chance to state their case. There's also an opportunity to ask theoretical questions if you think that's appropriate about marketing principles or standards, to really understand the students' education, recall, understanding, and thinking in terms of marketing. So just a few things to think about as you're filling out that rubric and evaluating these presentations. Just a couple of seconds on the individual events, both sales presentation and job interview. Each sales presentation will only be one student per college, and really the goal with these presentations is to get the order. Students are allowed to bring in their laptops, any other equipment, samples, etc. They are responsible to bring in all the materials themselves. They have a maximum of 20 minutes to complete their presentation in this case, and must be prepared to handle objections at any time during the presentation. In terms of the job interview, those of you that are judging this, you will be sent the students' resumes and cover letters prior to the event so that you can evaluate them and get a sense for who's going to be coming into that interview room. Portfolios can be used at the discretion of the candidate, and all candidates will be asked the same questions, which will be provided to you. The judges' feedback forms are very critical here, and you want to make sure all materials are returned to the audit group, including the resumes and cover letters and things like that, once the presentations are done at the end of the day. The interview is 20 minutes in length, and judges don't have to use all of the time allotted per candidate, but they must go through all of the competitors, all the questions that every competitor is going to be asked to make the interview process fair. So that's pretty much all the things that I wanted to cover today. My hope is, between the packages that I sent out to you and listening to this presentation, you have everything that you need to have a successful day on November 27th. By all means, if you have any questions at all, feel free to email me or call me. My cell's probably the best way to get a hold of me. And again, just want to thank all of you so much for agreeing to do this. It really makes the event, and we have just an amazing group of judges coming on the 27th. I'm looking so forward to seeing all of you and connecting with you. And again, just a big thank you for the time you're going to be spending with us. And that's it. So take care, everybody, and we will see you on the 27th.